Welcome back to Defecast, everybody. I'm Kyle Fernando.
Fuck, we're doing it. I'm Michael.
Baby boy.
You're listening to the podcast where we talk movies and talk shit, and sometimes talk shit movies. Just looking at my notes. There was something I wanted to bring up to you, and I quickly reeled myself back in from saying it before we recorded. Have you guys heard the Ray Fisher and Joss Whedon shit? Michael, I know you probably would have. Dave's probably like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Probably like, who's Ray Fisher?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I've heard it.
So just to fill Dave and the other audience member that's listening, member like one. Ray Fisher is an actor. He plays Cyborg in Justice League.
Right.
The live action Justice League. Joss Whedon was obviously the director that took over from Zack Snyder with that whole saga.
Right.
But Ray Fisher the other week posted something just out of the blue on his Twitter. Basically, he linked a video of him at Comic-Con sitting next to Jason Momoa. They're obviously doing press for Justice League, and it's the transition of Zack Snyder going out and Joss Whedon coming in has already been done, and obviously got a question about how he felt about it, and he's saying on there, he's like, yeah, Joss is a great guy, and yeah, he's going to do the best he can, and yeah, and it was just one of those very vague answers where you just...
It's not scripted, you know? Like,
yeah.
Just say this just to fucking get people to watch the movie.
Yeah, this is a very safe answer. Just... Yeah, and it's
not stepping on anyone's toes or anything.
Yeah. And at the time, like you just be like, oh yeah, like what? He's a talking head for the studio. He's obviously not going to badmouth the fucking director in the movie. Yeah, so you're like, whatever. You don't really pay too much mind to it. But then he's tweeted that video, and he's like, I forcefully retract every single word of this statement. And I was like, what the fuck? And then like you watch it through that prism again, and he just looks so fucking... It's almost as if someone's just been like, put this testicle in your mouth, Ray. Like, you know what I mean? And he just doesn't...
Someone's put a gun to his head to read him, that sort of thing.
Dude, he just didn't want to say it. And even like Jason, like when he looks over at Jason and he doesn't even make eye contact with him, he just, it's one of those things, it's like when your buddy's looking at you, like your buddy's fucked up. And he's said something like he shouldn't have or whatever, and your buddy's looking at you for help, and you don't want to make eye contact with your friend because you're like, I don't want to get dragged into this. Shut up and just move on. It's just like, that's what Jason was doing. Just a vacant stare out into the crowd. It was gold. And then a few hours later, he posted again. He was just basically like, it all sort of came out. Then it came out the week after that. Is that Joss was an absolute egomaniac on that shoot. He was bad-mouthing Zack Snyder's and the whole crew work and bashing that whole cut. Basically just, I think you could guess what he'd be saying, like, oh, fucking, it was shit, and I've come in to fix everything, and blah, 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 and you're like, alright, that's fucking egomania, and it's like, that's pretty shit, and considering, like, taking out my Zack Snyder love, and just looking at that as what it is, it's still just like, oh, that's pretty shit. But then it got worse, and it's like, apparently, that fucking joke, that visual gag that he has where Flash lands on Wonder Woman, like at super speed. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember it.
Gal Gadot didn't want to do that, so she basically put her foot down and said, no, I'm not doing it. And he, from all accounts, has acted like a fucking 3-year-old throwing a tantrum, and locked her... Hey?
He got a body double, apparently.
Yeah, he got a body double for it. I was like, now that's beyond egomania. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a fucking dude he's got some serious problems. Like, if he's acting like that, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
to fucking people on set. But I was thinking about all that as it's all come out, and I'm just sort of like, well, this is only just gonna make Zack Snyder's cut even sweeter when it does. But I've been thinking about it since it came out, and there tends to be with directors a little bit of leniency, like with how they treat actors, because there's this sort of fine sort of line that they walk, especially if they're getting results like you know, like Whedon has with his. And when I say results, I mean like the box office money that Whedon has pulled in and stuff. And I feel like
We also look at the fans he's garnered over the years with stuff like Buffy and Angel and
yeah,
Firefly.
yeah, and I feel like I just feel like there is a fine line with how directors treat actors. You know what I mean? Because like I've heard stories of I forget who directed Birdman.
Oh my god, it's Alfonso Cuarón. Oh, I can't remember his fucking name.
Yeah. But apparently I've seen somewhere that I can't remember. I should have fucking looked it up.
Alejandro Gonzalez.
There you go.
You know, there you go.
Apparently there's that scene with Emma Stone on the rooftop, I think with Ed Norton.
Mm-hmm.
And I know with Michael Keaton, sorry, and it's a really good scene in the film. I remember that much, but I remember her having an interview and she was like, we had done that scene like a ridiculous amount of times, like 50 plus times. It was 3 o'clock in the morning and she wasn't getting to where the director needed it to get to, and I think he just kept pushing her and pushing her and pushing her until she snapped, and then it was like she got there. I just remember the interview being like, oh, I have to look it up because my memory is foggy on it, so I'm sorry if it is incorrect, but like I feel like she was just like, yeah, that's what needed to happen. I don't want to go through it again, but like, but the results speak for themselves, and it was just interesting to me because I was just like, yeah, there's some directors where they're able to push that boundary, and then with some actors they understand that.
And but that's also what makes a good director is being able to determine when you're going to push those boundaries and when those boundaries should not be pushed.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just interesting to me because it was just this aspect of filmmaking that I'm like, I've just totally taken for granted. You know what I mean?
Mostly goes unnoticed, really.
Yeah.
Like, the only real times I've heard about directors being cunts to their actors is Hitchcock.
Yeah.
He treated a lot of his actresses like absolute fucking garbage just to, well, according to him, get performances out of them, but in my eyes, he just did it because he was a fucking asshole. So,
and it is, look, I hate to be that guy, but it is one of those, when I hear it's like, oh, Alfred Hitchcock or people from that era, I'm just sort of like, yeah, they're the times too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's not excusing.
it's not an excuse, it's a pathway to understanding.
Yeah. And,
Which is what most people miss nowadays. You know? That's a whole other fucking complication.
Social media. And, my exodus from it. But, yeah, it was just this really interesting concept that I was just sort of like, and I started cycling through other directors that I was just sort of like, yeah, like, because I'd heard there was a whole story with, Tarantino, like, strangling and spitting into Uma Thurman's face at one point. Because I forget what it was, but I was just sort of like, I remember when I heard it and I was like, fuck, that's a piece of shit thing to do. And I was just sort of like, but I wonder how many other directors have sort of pushed lines like that where it's just like, they're obviously directors with names, they've gotten results with some actors when they've been forceful like this, and the actors understood, like they're just like, oh, it's a job, whatever, but then they've just taken that framework and then applied it to this next person. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, I was just like, you really, it really, because I've always thought directors need to be people. You know what I mean? Like, they need to be able to communicate to actors their vision, and it's also, it's not, they can't be blunt about things where it's just all like, look, just fucking read it like this, just fucking do it like this. Like, can't give them line reads. Like, you sort of have to lead them to the performance that you want, that you're envisioning in your head, but you've also got to make them feel comfortable with doing that, and also make the actor, like, help the actor get there as well, you know, and then have their input into it as well, and just, you know, maybe your fucking vision isn't the right thing. Maybe the actor's got a better idea. And I was just like, yeah. So I was just like, how do you get to the point where you're directing some of the biggest, most expensive films on the planet, and you're acting like a 3-year-old? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Explain it. I want answers, guys. That wasn't a rhetorical question. Tell me. How? How?
All right. Well,
a
how
lot
it
of
works
it would
is
be Joss Whedon getting what he wanted for fucking 20-odd years, you know?
Yeah.
No
what
one's
happened-
saying no to
it
it.
actually stems back to when he was 6 years old, right?
All right, Freud, because he fell over. He had a hard on. He fell over on it, and since then
Whoa.
he was like, I understand.
Got nothing to do with the heart on me. Where are you going with this?
Hey, you're the one talking about being a child, and
Yeah, he had a fork and he wanted a spoon. And he grew up and he thought, now I have the opportunity to get a spoon.
oh fuck.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so continue.
I tell you what, I found what happened to me this week that was really humbling. Got rocked back down to earth, and I'm like, wow, I'm really dumb.
Go on.
No, I was watching a video, and it was a Jordan Peterson, just a clip, and he was just talking about oh shit, what was he talking about? I forget the premise of the video. It was something to do with motivation and being successful, and it was basically in a fucking classic Jordan Peterson way, very long-winded. And he went down this path of talking about basically knowing your skill set, knowing what you're good at, and also understanding your limitations. And he brought up all these statistics of IQ and percentiles and occupations. And like right at the top, like the 96, 97% percentile is like lawyers and I think politicians and stuff of that, and where it's just like it takes you like 6 to 8 years of college to get good at your field and stuff like that. And he was talking about all these percentiles, and I was just saying he went through about, I feel like he went through about 4 stages. And I'm just sort of like, I kept waiting for, I'm like, where's my job? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a storeman. And I'm like, well, I know I'm a tradesman as well. So I'm like, I've done 8 years of a trade. I'm like, so maybe I'm in there twice. And they were under the one thing, like 4 tiers down. And it was like, he just said something so fucking humbling where it was just like, people still, like, it was like, yeah, people that do these jobs and like, yeah, storemen and mechanics and stuff like that is like, yeah, they're not dumb, but they still need to be done. And I was just sort of like,
what?
he's just like, they're not dumb people. Like, we need these people.
Because you were giggling, I didn't catch what you said.
Oh, he's just like, they're not dumb, but we still need these people.
Oh, right.
And I was just sort of like, but I'm dumb. Like, that's what you're saying. Like, yeah, it's just. Pissed me off. I was like, I turned the video out. All of a sudden, I understood why the internet hates Jordan Peterson. It's like, you fucking pompous prick. Oh, dude, I watched
he's
that.
not upset.
I watched that video.
That coming from a dummy like
Yeah, it's the fucking too dumb to insult. Yeah, no, dude, I watched that video 4 days ago. I still think about it. Like, that was brutal. I want to watch it again, but fear is holding me back to really understand it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been my week. Pretty piss poor week. Had my ego, my IQ fucking knocked down a few pegs. So yeah, how have you two been? Anything newsworthy?
Nothing here. Sorry.
Fucking resounding silence.
Yeah,
Fucking crickets.
pretty much.
Well, we were supposed to. Let's just get into the Manchurian Candidate then. So we were supposed to tee this up while we were watching it all at the same time. But
Yeah, I totally
somebody,
forgot.
somebody watched it before us.
Well, I watched it this morning.
Oh,
So did I.
fuck you
Yeah.
guys. I was the
Well,
only one.
I'm using.
Do you
I'm
even
using-
listen to our podcast? I went back and listened to our last one, and I was like, that was a really good podcast. That's the only reason I remembered.
No, I'll have to listen to the last one then.
Yeah.
I watched it this morning only because I was. I'm sharing. Michael's. fucking Amazon.
Oh,
But-
fuck. So
but
Amazon now. So you're sharing his stand.
Did you
Yeah.
get my
share-
message, by the way, you fucking dickhead?
Who?
You. I sent you a message this morning.
Did you?
Yes. Wow.
Come on, man.
I know where I stand with you now, Dave.
It's Dave.
Yeah.
Dave,
Nah.
dude, Dave will forget the start of this conversation.
Dude. Okay, that makes so much more sense now. Dude, okay, this is what happened.
Oh,
I
God.
woke up this morning
Okay.
and I have a message from my mum that's like right next to your name. So I hit your message thinking it said mum, because yours says Marsh Mobile
Uh-huh.
and my mum says Mum Mobile, and they look very similar. So when I hit your message, I thought it was my mum. And it was just so random. And I was just like, why the fuck would she do that? And I just put the phone down, and I never thought another thought about
Could you
it.
imagine if you sent him a text that was like, I miss your schlong? Like something utterly fucking stupid that we send each other. Like, we all send each other.
All right, so where
And he's
where the
reading
message
it in his
is-
mum's voice. Like,
All right, so the message says, I created an Amazon Prime profile for you, which is just weird because my mum wouldn't do that. And all right, so the reason why I've gotten that confused is because next to the message it's got an M for mum,
Oh,
and
God.
if it was Marshman's message, it would have M for Marsh or M for Michael. So I'm looking at this thinking, I'll address this another time. and then at some stage this morning, I like log into Amazon Prime and I'm like, I actually had this thought. I'm like, oh, Marsh set me up a profile too.
oh my god.
And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, how am I gonna tell my mum that I'm already mooching a profile off of
God.
another friend?
Oh, God.
Holy shit, Dave.
Like I said, man, I've been out of it all day. I don't know what's going on with me at the moment. I wasn't
Dave, I've heard some.
hungover. I haven't been drinking excessively this week. I just don't know what's going on.
Dave,
today.
I've heard some rippers from you, but that one's fucking up there, man.
Oh, hey.
Funny thing was, like, I sent the message this morning, and like subconsciously, I was kind of like, he'll message back with like "oh, thanks, man," or whatever. And like,
Dude, I feel like a piece of shit.
but then I totally forgot that I sent it until like 5 minutes ago. I was like, wait a minute, he didn't say anything.
Yeah, which I totally would have because which I totally would have if I thought it wasn't my mum. Not saying that I wouldn't say thanks,
So
Mum,
basically,
but my frame of mind was like, I'm just going to talk to Mum about this when I see her next.
Moral of the story, Michael, is that even if you're Dave's mum, he still wouldn't message you back. So don't feel too bad.
Don't do nice things for Dave.
Oh God, maybe you shouldn't.
No one.
Hey, but thanks, man. I did notice it, and I did appreciate it. Oh my God, I can't believe the light bulb that's just gone on with that. Though. It all makes so much more sense. Anyway, I watched it this morning.
Well, according to our last podcast, we're all going to tee it up and watch it at the same time, but obviously that went out the window.
Yeah, that's right. That's where I was going with that. I wasn't too sure how that would work with us both using the same Amazon account, but because he set me up a profile, now I know that we can. So...
Well, anyway,
I forgot. Like, I watched the movie, and as the credits were rolling, I was like, "Wait a minute, we're supposed to do this tonight."
You could have lied. Like, you could have just been like, "Yeah, I'll watch it at 6."
I forgot a little bit. I wasn't too sure what was going on. So
that's all right.
Anyway.
I had shit to do today anyway. Like, I was working on stuff all day today anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to get to it. But I did get to it. The Manchurian Candidate. So you guys hadn't seen it.
Negative.
Well, Dave, why don't we start with you? What do you think?
I wanted to like this movie more than I did.
All right, Michael. What did you? Yeah, no. So yeah, you want to like it.
I did like it, but I wanted to like it more. Like, if that makes sense. There was just I
feel you.
Yeah. So for a start, the first 20 minutes it took, like, and I looked at the timestamp when it got interesting, just because I wanted to know how long it took for me to sort of get baited into to get invested. And it was like something like 21 or 22 minutes or something like that when it started to get interesting. Up until that point, I was kind of really bored with it. But yeah, then it took a turn, and there was a lot more interesting things happening, and with the flashbacks and stuff like that. But yeah, like, I don't know what I can say about it. The idea behind it is very good. Like
the concept.
Yeah, the concept is great. But I just felt like this movie was trying to, I don't know. It was trying to do something that it couldn't do.
You feel
like I said,
like it bit off more than it could chew, kind of deal.
Yeah, it just wasn't. I don't know.
I think
it
if
sounds
they
like a really shit thing to say, but I just don't think it was executed properly.
No, I think what you just said then, it wasn't executed as best as it could have been. Like, I think this would have worked a lot better if it felt more like a spy / like espionage sort of a film, rather than it being like, because it's I think where they fucked up is because it, like what you said, when it gets interesting about the 20-minute mark, you already believe it. Like, you already know, it's like, yeah, okay, these guys were brainwashed. And then it's like the next sort of like hour and a bit is sort of like
Well, were they really?
Yeah, but then it wasn't convincing enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was like the whole time I'm sort of like, no, they did. Like you keep trying to trip us up, but the trip up isn't enough for me to really flip to the other side and be like, oh no, this guy's got Gulf War syndrome. You know what I mean?
There's too much concrete evidence early on. Like with a good mystery, you're meant to sort of keep yourself guessing the whole time until eventually everything falls into place and you're like, aha. But like the whole implant, like half an hour into the movie, like there's your concrete evidence. Okay, they were definitely brainwashed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When you got physical evidence like that, it's just sort of like, yeah, done. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. That I think that's would that be what you reckon it is, Dave? Like because it was just like
I mean, along those lines for sure. Yeah.
So, Michael, what did you think?
I liked it. I didn't fall in love with it. It kept me intrigued enough to want to keep going, and I think I was just more interested in like the Manchurian company itself.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really touch on that. It's just like this big mysterious entity.
Yeah.
Which, like thinking about it now, I feel like this movie could do with a remake, but as a series.
Yeah.
We flesh the world out more and like really build up a decent mystery around it.
Just with you saying that, then with the Manchurian sort of corporation, what are they called? Manchurian Global?
Yeah, something like that.
I actually really liked that they were it's sort of just like they're skulking in the shadows. Like you know that it's them, and you don't ever spend too much time with anybody from there.
Yeah, it's like 5 minutes at the most.
Yeah, and I'm just sort of like that. I feel like that helped play into it a lot more.
Did either of you know that? Like, did you guess that the mother was in on it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, they made that so blatantly obvious. They really could have twisted that.
I didn't guess it, but I wasn't surprised. I was like, oh, of course.
Look, I felt like I'm like you don't put someone like Meryl Streep in that film
in that kind of supporting sort of
and just being like she's the loving mother. But I tell you what though, I did pick that fucking sexual sort of weird incest chemistry that she fucking had for him immediately.
Oh, okay. So that wasn't just me that thought.
No, dude. When she first
going on there.
Dude, when she first came in,
when she did that thing in the dressing room, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was just
like, fuck.
Dude, I was sitting there, like when she first came in and she was like, had her legs crossed and she puts her fucking fingernail in between her teeth and stuff, and I'm just sort of like, this is very sexual. Like you're being, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's your son. And it's like, and it is, and then it sort of left, and I'm just sort of like, okay, if they don't expand on that, I'm gonna call that as extremely piss poor acting because I'm like that's a bad choice. Like if I was the director and there was no storyline of incest in there, and fucking I don't give a fuck if you're Meryl Streep, she comes in there and starts doing that, I'd be like, what? Cut. Like, right, let's take it from the top, and
you pull her aside. You're like, no, what the fuck was that?
Yeah,
let's take it from the top. And how about you don't want to fuck him this time?
yeah. Can we just do one? Can we just do one where you don't want to fuck your son, please?
Yeah.
Like.
All right, good. Yeah. So it wasn't just me that was like weirded out by that totally and utterly.
But then they went there at the end. So I was just like, Jesus. I was like, fucking, where'd that storyline come from? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was a really weird thing to put in a film like this.
Yeah. I gotta agree.
I suppose you could make the argument that it's just sort of like, well, you know, look, they've already got a fucked up relationship. Why wouldn't she do this? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I can think of a few reasons.
Yeah, I think this was the first time watching this film as an adult, and I felt it was probably 20 to 30 minutes too long. Like this could have been a 90-minute film, easily, easily, and it still could have been. You could have still had all the tone and the themes and everything that you had in it. Like pretty much after Denzel's character leaves Jeffrey Wright, there's a good 20 minutes there where I'm like, you could have just cut this out. There was a lot of fat to trim on this.
I also felt the FBI agent she was very forced in that situation. Like I feel like
It just felt like a twist for having a twist's sake.
Yeah, but the whole her thing, like I just felt like the not rapport, but
chemistry,
the trust, I guess, or
Yeah.
the involvement of her into his life.
I think
it was way too easy.
I think because she was so forced from the start. Because like the thought that I had when he was walking away at the train station and she yells out her phone number to him and stuff, I'm just sort of like, you're very forceful with this, and I didn't pick that she was like she's in on it or anything. I actually did just think, I was just like, she really likes this guy, and the thought that I had, I was just sort of like, you can see he's fucked up, and you still want to get in his pants. I'm like, you're just as fucked up as him, lady. Like,
I was gonna say, it's a kink.
Yeah.
I just thought she was genuinely trying to look out, like pitied him. She was in that respect.
Yeah, that was my second thought. I was just like, I don't know, maybe she had a dad who was in the army or something. I don't know, but yeah, like there was a lot in this film that I liked, and there was also a lot that I didn't like. Another thing that I thought was probably commendable, and it was also something that very rare for a film made in 2004, dealing with the US, with their military and everything, and it's got nothing to do with 9/11. Like I thought that was a sort of a rare bird. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like every military film I watch now that's set after 9/11, they mention 9/11 somehow, in some way, shape, or form. And I think they mentioned the fight on Terror like twice in this.
Yeah.
And
everything in this movie is based around like the Gulf War.
Yeah.
Operation Desert Storm. So
yeah.
Why doesn't bother?
Yeah, but I'm like, you still like there's just, I've watched so many films where they just find a way. You know what I mean? Like they'll throw it in there somehow, and it's just like, I feel like that's so close to 9/11 that it would still be fresh in people's minds. You know?
Yeah, maybe that could be a reason why too. They didn't want to touch it with like a 40-foot pole.
And there was a lot of shots of New York skyline as well, and I don't think they ventured anywhere close to there.
Right.
But I thought that was an interesting choice. I'm getting a little bit tired with that. I suppose that's probably because I'm watching the Newsroom again, and that's heavy on 9/11.
Oh, dude, I was actually thinking about starting to watch that again the other day.
Yeah, I'm up to the second season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did enjoy it. Like I said, I think there was probably a little bit too long for me. Like, it's 2 hours 9 minutes. It could easily be a 90-minute film. A lot of stuff in there you could cut out. You definitely cut out the fucking incest. 100%.
Nah, more of it.
It's just fucking, she works him like a giant fucking Manchurian dildo.
Oh god. I do get those Bill Burr jokes now, by the way.
Where you just stand up like the Manchurian Candidate. Yeah. I actually do want to read the book too. It's based on a novel.
Right.
So yeah, that's.
I wonder if she wants to fuck him in the novel.
Maybe that's the only reason it's in the movie.
Maybe.
Yeah, the fucking
maybe
the author was just like, "This is a non-negotiable. I'm
Yeah, this
happy for
has
you to
to be."
make this."
yeah, maybe a lot more full on in the book than in the.
Someone just
producer.
needs to set him aside and be like, "Did you want to fuck your mum?" He just starts breaking down. His name's Richard Condon, so he just starts saying his name, Mr. Condon, Mr. Richard Condon, Mr. Richard. I want to fuck my mother Condon. And he stands up. Yeah, this movie. I think I'd have to say it's a definite. Give it a watch, especially if you like, sort of CIA, conspiracy theory sort of films. This would be a good one to watch.
Or even just like that Tom Clancy style of fucking storytelling.
Yeah, yeah. It's very much. These are the facts, but the facts can also be very distorted.
Mm.
Yeah. Thumbs up from me. What about you, Stu?
Yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I give it a thumbs up.
Fucking A. Cole wins one for another week. All right. Well, Michael, why don't you take us into the future?
Yeah. Speaking of fucked up, what are we? What's gonna haunt my dreams this week?
I was thinking about going full on, but even I don't feel like watching it this week.
Oh God.
I'm still kind of deciding. Alright, fuck it. I've decided. Let me just pull up the old...
So you've done a Carl on us.
not really. Like, I didn't start with nothing.
Yeah, and then decide as we're talking.
Yeah. I still have my list here. It's just like what off the list is what I'm going to pick.
Right.
Anyway. A man struggles with memories of his past, which includes a wife he cannot remember and a nightmarish world no one else seems to be waking up from.
Oh
They live.
Nope.
no! Is it something I would have seen? You reckon?
It's possible. It was pretty popular when it came out, I think.
What year?
1998.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, I got nothing. But
At least
it
I think
sounds.
it was popular. Like, I think it garnered some attention. It's like now sort of cult status.
Read it again. Read it again.
A man struggles with memories of his past, which includes a wife he cannot remember and a nightmarish world no one else seems to be waking up from.
Dark City.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched this a few years ago.
Yeah, this is one of actually talking to mums. This is one my mum really likes. She's the only reason I've seen this. She's like, oh, you got to watch this.
I just love I love the tone and the aesthetic of this film.
Yeah. It's very noir,
Yeah. But like,
also sci-fi.
like noir, but also being like neo goth.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's
Yeah,
fucking
this will be a
astounding.
good one to talk about.
Yeah. Alex Proyas?
Yeah, Alex Proyas, yeah.
Yeah, done The Crow. He also done Gods of Egypt.
Peter Sutherland playing someone who's got a little bit of an annoying character.
Yeah.
Keith Sutherland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always get this and Hellraiser mixed up.
Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Is it because of like the
Yeah, I know
the
why.
villains?
Yeah.
The
The
villains
what?
look like the Cenobites, yeah.
The what?
The villains in Dark City. Like the fucking alien dudes.
Yeah, because they've got things coming out of their heads, don't they?
Well, yes and no.
Yeah. Hang on,
But,
I just brought up Hellraiser because I'm like, I don't even think I've seen Hellraiser.
Oh, don't say that.
I have. Good movie.
Don't say that. You're gonna make him fucking pick it.
No, I'm not going to pick it.
Oh, thank you,
Jesus
fuck
Christ.
for that.
Carl might.
Clive Barker. I think I might actually, because I've just seen Clive Barker. I'm
you're a
like,
turd.
yeah, I like Clive Barker. He's a good bloke.
I think I've seen bits and pieces of that movie, and from what I've seen, it's one of those that I'm like, yeah, I could do without watching this.
No, but I've just seen another Clive Barker film that I really want to watch.
Write it down.
No, I'll remember it. No, I won't.
No, you won't.
I'll write it down. Alright, yeah. Fucking Dark City.
Yeah.
Michael?
Yes.
Why? Why are we watching Dark City?
It ticks a lot of the boxes for me. Like you said, the aesthetic, the setting, the story. It's really well acted. It's got Jennifer Connelly in it.
Yeah.
Jennifer Connelly.
And I feel like this movie was like The Matrix before The Matrix.
I love her. Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah. Like, if you watch this and then watch The Matrix, you'd be like, I feel like the Wachowski stole a lot of The Matrix from Dark City.
They probably stole a lot of the aesthetic, like the leather. But to be fair, that's sort of 90s though.
Yeah,
Like,
but like if you look at the story as well, like it's a I mean spoilers, but whatever. Like it's a city that's like not real,
yeah.
sort of thing, and like he's sort of like a rat in a maze.
Wasn't the Matrix inspired by a novel? Science fiction novel? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is because I've picked it up a few times at Demix when the world was still functioning. I was gonna buy it. Yeah. No, it was. Hang on. Yeah,
I think it had a few influences because I'm pretty sure Ghost in the Shell was something that influenced the Matrix as well.
yeah. I can definitely see how that. Look, here we go. The biggest and perhaps most famous influence on the Matrix is William Gibson's genre-transforming 1984 novel Neuromancer. Yeah, that's what I was going to get. A cowboy who jacks into cyberspace to perform all sorts of espionage, theft, and other cyberpunky stuff. Fucking there you go. But I think you are right though. Like the aesthetic, there's a lot of similarities. Like I'm just looking at the poster for the Matrix and just looking at stills from Dark City, and it's just sort of like that tight black leather. You know what I mean? Where everyone looks like they're into fucking some mad S&M.
Yeah, or like like a city that doesn't feel real.
Fuck yeah, I'm looking forward to watching this. Yeah.
This is me going easy on you guys for a week, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, man. 1998, Dark City. Let's do it. Let's
do it.
go and watch Dark City. Until next week.
Pull your finger out.